So today we're speaking with Bill Breault, the sales director at Vantage Surface Treatment Technologies, a chemical company. I believe you're headquartered in Chicago, aren't you, Bill?
That's right. Well, we're actually headquartered in Gurnee, Illinois, which is about 40 miles north of Chicago here.
Great. Well, why don't you give us a little background? Tell us about Vantage, all that you all offer, the surface finishing industry, if you could.
Okay, thanks, Tim, and I really appreciate you inviting us in today. Vantage Surface Treatment Technologies is a 40-year-old specialty chemical company, again, based in Gurnee, Illinois. We develop, we manufacture, and we supply a complete range of integrated process cleaning solutions, surface treatments, and pre-treatments for high reliability in markets such as aerospace, defense, electronics, medical device, and automotive.
Gotcha. Right. One of the things I know you all are very keen on is really developing, the cleaning and surface treatment products that, reduce VOCs. These are things that are really concerned with a lot of in-use applicators. VOCs, it reduce fire hazards, any exposure to hazardous solvents. How do you all do that to accomplish that for the end user, to kind of have a little peace of mind with what they're using from you all?
Yeah, that's a good question, Tim. And maybe I could start off by taking a step back and telling a little bit of tell a little story about Vantage. And I may have my dates wrong, Tim, but around 1989, the Montreal Protocol entered into force, and this was an international treaty designed to protect the ozone layer by phasing out the production of numerous substances that are responsible for ozone depletion. And one of those on the target list was Freon. At the time, in the early 80s, the company Vantage was started in 1981, and at the time it was quite a small R&D company. As a response to this international environmental treaty, Vantage had created a range of cleaning products based on citrus and pine terpenes, and these products were used for both cleaning as well as defluxing, and used as alternatives to Freon. That's really the origin story of the business in creating proprietary engineered solutions to address environmental health and safety regulations. And if you look throughout our history, there are numerous cases of where we developed and designed and engineered surface treatments and pre-treatments to address issues like VOCs and ozone depletion and global warming depletion and potential.
Right. Yeah, like I said, that is top of mind for a lot of applicators. There's a lot of pressure on them to meet some of these regulations, and they're always changing and they're always getting a little tighter. So it's great, like I said, that they've got an opportunity to use products like that. I know you've got lots of products, but let's talk about two in particular today. Two that I know a lot of end users probably are going to be looking at. One of them is the Bioact. It's the 105, which is a manual solvent cleaner. I know, lots of news over the last couple of years as the EPA has looked at a lot of solvents and how it's working. But this is, replaces a lot of hazardous solvents. So tell us about that product and how applicators are using it.
So Bioact 105 is a blend of highly refined solvents designed for manual cleaning operations of both metallic and non-metallic substrates. It was originally engineered to replace MEK or methyl ketone, IPA, which is isopropyl alcohol, and acetone, and other solvents with high EH impact. The product is generally used for degreasing and cleaning, but is also often used for preparing surfaces before bonding, sealing, and coating. And so a few of the advantages, there's several pillars of advantages here. There are five really, and it starts with performance, environmental, health, safety, and economics. From a performance standpoint, it is a blend of solvents that attend to removing both polar and non-polar soil. So it gives it a robustness that some of these single solvent commodities don't attend to, let's say. And from an environmental standpoint, because the evaporation is more controlled versus the usual suspects like isopropyl alcohol, less material is used. So that is attending to reducing VOC or volatile organic compound contribution. Now, because the flash point is higher, we're also addressing fire risk. The room temperature The flash point is above room temperature operations, unlike acetone, IPA, and MEK. And from an exposure standpoint, because the evaporation is controlled, we're lowering the potential of overexposure. And then lastly, and really going back again to the controlled evaporation economically, less material is used to clean a given substrate versus the usual suspects. So we're often reducing consumption somewhere between 50 up to 85%. I would say a few other points about this particular product is that it is widely aerospace tested and approved, and it's available in both bulk liquid as well as pre-saturated wipes.
Right. Yeah. Adhesion is the biggest, I think, culprit in the finishing industry. If there's not proper adhesion, and it seems like it's always traced back to whether the part was cleaned properly. And some applicators will tell me they sometimes don't know what's on the parts, right? They don't know what's coming to them. So it's good to have a very, well-researched and used product that can help them pretty much take things that they don't even know that's on there to get it off, because they need that adhesion going forward, right?
Well, I think that's a really good point, and I think that stresses appropriate processes for manual cleaning. We manually clean all the time in our daily lives, and there really is a right and wrong way, or better ways of preparing surfaces before bonding, sealing, and coating. And the methodology that we often educate our clients is to using what we would call a damp dry or a wipe on, wipe off process. When you're using MEK, acetone, and IPA, because of the very fast rates of evaporation, you really cannot follow up the initial wipe with a dry wipe. With the 105, because that rate of evaporation is quite controlled, you can wet a surface, and allow the Bioact 105 to begin to break down those soils. And then before that substrate is completely dried, you're able to come back with let's say a very low lint wipe and wipe the remaining cleaning product in the dissolved soil that will give you a very clean surface that attends to good adhesion.
Gotcha. Right. Let's talk about the wax remover, the Bioact 280 wax remover. A lot of plating facilities, are doing the selective plating. They're especially in aerospace. I know that they're very highly used in that area. And this is a product that really helps them, again, remove that wax. Does it in a safe way. A lot of industrial and aerospace applications, doesn't it?
No, this has been a very important product in our portfolio for many years. And you're right about its predominant use in aerospace, especially on the landing gear and engine overhaul side of the business, where they are applying nickel sulfamate in chrome plating. And in that particular process, there's areas of those components by which they do not want to plate, so they will apply either a paraffinic or microcrystalline wax to the areas, again, that they don't desire a finish. And then that component is going to move through the plating process. And on the back end, we are going to be removing the wax. And traditionally, products like trichloroethylene or TCE and perchloroethylene or PERC has been used in vapor degreasing operations for dewaxing. And as many of your viewers may know, that these are considered US EPA hazardous air pollutants and are regulated. So the creation of Bioact 280 and the family of the 280 and the Bioact 280 family was a response to the use of these let's say hazardous carcinogenic materials. And the Bioact 280 is quite unique. It really is a bio-derived, bio-based solvent that it has a high affinity for holding large amounts of wax. So one of the advantages of the Bioact 280 is it's not only the fact that it's bio-based, but it has a very long bath life. Somewhere between 18 and 24 months is typical. It is used a little bit differently than TCE and PERC and integrates quite nicely into the plating shop tank environment. The Bioact 280 is not used in a vapor degreaser. It's used in heated immersion processes with a little bit of pump recirculation. and it readily dissolves and solubilizes these masking waxes. I would also make note that it's not regulated, and the 280 has a pretty wide range of aerospace testing and qualifications at both OEMs and MROs.
Right. Great. Yeah, I know that's going to be something that's very, very important, especially, like I said, when they're getting into some of these NADCAP situations where they are, very strict about what they can use. Plus, like I said, with all the EPA really forming some, increasing the rules that are applying to this. But yeah, sounds like it's something that they definitely should take a part in. And again, I think, everywhere I go, cleaning and surface prep is the absolute first and most important step. I've often felt it's just not going to work anywhere after that if you're not doing it correctly with that. So definitely. Again, people can go to your website, which is vantagegrp.com, and read a lot about that information and give you guys a call. And I'm sure you'd be glad to talk with them about that. And I know in the future we're going to be reading a couple more of these and talking about some of your other products that surface finishers can and should be using if they're not already. But Bill, I appreciate you taking time out today and explaining those to us.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it very much.